Top 10 typos that cost millions. Number 10. Tropical fruit pants. In 1872, one misplaced comma cost the US government $2 million. To put that in perspective, today that comma would be worth over $50 million. The tiny error was made in the US Tariff Act. Instead of making tropical fruit plants exempt from tariffs, the Act used the wording fruit, plants. That rogue comma meant all tropical fruit and plants were free from charge. The government did eventually correct the typo, but not until after 2 years of lost revenue. Number 9. The Japanese Stock Exchange. The Japanese Mitsuo Securities Company, a division of the second largest bank in Japan, lost millions in a typo-related error in 2005. While trying to sell shares of a recruiting agency on the Japanese stock exchange, the bank accidentally listed 610,000 shares as costing 1 yen each, rather than each share costing 610,000 yen. No one seemed to notice the fact that 610,000 shares was actually 41 times the number available either. In less than a day, the company lost $250 million, equivalent to the entire profit it had made that year. The mistake was attributed to fat finger syndrome, a term in the stock market for a huge accidental blunder. Number 8. Airline rickets. In 2006, Alitalia Airlines accidentally listed business-class flights from Toronto to Cyprus at $39, instead of $3,900. 2,000 quick-thinking travelers took advantage of the mistake, booking tickets as fast as they could. When the airline tried to cancel the tickets, they suffered a massive backlash from their customers. Worried about their reputation, Alitalia decided to cut its losses and allow the budget ticket holders to fly. A move which improved public relations, but cost the company somewhere in the region of $7.2 million. Number 7. The British Government. The British government accidentally listed Taylor & Sons Limited rather than Taylor & Son Limited as a failing business approaching liquidation. The extra S in the name of the report caused a confusion between the failing company and a respected engineering firm, which saw its clients back out of deals, its suppliers cancel contracts, and creditors withdrawing their agreement. 2 months after the typo report, the 134-year-old family business was bankrupt, with 250 people losing their jobs. Seen as a direct consequence of the British government's mistake, Taylor & Sons were awarded nearly $14 million in compensation in 2015. Number 6. Buying and soiling. Between 1993 and 1994, stockbroker Juan Pablo de Villa lost $206 million on the stock market because of a simple typo. The trader accidentally entered the shares he wanted to sell into the buy column on his computer and lost $30 million. After realizing his costly mistake, De Villa went on a buying and selling spree, making 5,000 transactions with 23 brokers in less than 6 months, risking up to $1.8 billion, but finally losing a total of $206 million. He eventually served 3 years in prison for his dubious financial prowess. Number 5. Everyone's a wiener. In 2007, a car dealership thought it would be a great idea to drum up some customers by sending out lottery tickets to locals. The idea was to send out 50,000 tickets with just one winner of $1,000. Unfortunately, the marketing company responsible for making the tickets made a huge mistake. They printed all 50,000 tickets as grand prize winners, essentially giving away $50 million. Rather than pay out the fortune, the dealership apologized and offered $5 Walmart gift cards as compensation. Number 4. Lockheed Martini. When Lockheed Martin agreed to produce a military transport aircraft for an unnamed air force, thought to be either the UK, Italy, or Australia, they signed a very specific contract. As the deal would require several years of manufacturing, the agreement stated that the cost of the planes would increase alongside inflation. Unfortunately, the formula that worked out the cost of the aircraft had a typo in it, a comma that was 1 decimal place in the wrong direction. This typo would cause Lockheed Martin to lose $70 million, as they were locked into the contract, and the customer, whoever it was, wouldn't agree to adjust the error. Number 3. Google. Typo squatting is a controversial practice where people register slightly misspelled versions of popular websites to generate hits and revenue, and according to a Harvard study in 2010, it can be very lucrative. Researchers found that whenever someone types in the wrong address to go to a website, which is about 0.7% of the time, they are normally redirected to a site covered in advertisements. Going to typo websites happens over 70 million times a day, costing the correctly spelled domain tons of cash. In fact, since Google supplies more than half the ads on the typo sites, it's estimated the search giant earns a whopping $500 million from the practice. Number 2. The Yellow Pages. In 1988, a Californian travel agency posted an advert in the Yellow Pages for exotic travel. But unfortunately, a typo led it to advertising erotic travel instead. The agency's reputation was destroyed, losing 80% of its existing customers and gaining next to no new business because of the advertisement. That is, aside from prank callers and heavy-breathing perverts. Yellow Pages allegedly refused to issue a correction, so the travel agency sued and won $18 million on the grounds of gross negligence. Number 1. NASA Rackets. On July 22, 1962, the Mariner 1 space probe exploded shortly after liftoff, in one of the most expensive typo-related incidents in history. NASA investigators concluded that the omission of a single hyphen in the guidance software had led to a series of false course correction signals. The rocket was then deliberately detonated to prevent it crashing down in a populated area. Political pressure to get the rocket in space was blamed for the rushed preparations, resulting in the typo. The rocket was worth between $80 and $150 million.
If you found this video interesting and you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a like, but you might also enjoy 10 secrets about Google. It's playing on screen now and there's a link in the description. As always guys, thank you so much for all your support. We really cannot thank you enough. Peace.